welcome to Pearly Crochet. My name is Hannah, and today I've got a very exciting little market vlog, kind of more of a recap for everyone. So going into this market, I had quite a bit of a break from markets, so I had quite a lot of stock. So for the first time ever, like all three of my tables were so full that I didn't actually put out all my stock. Which was a bit different for me. So I kind of, as I sold stuff and as space filled up, I sort of replaced that with stuff that I hadn't been able to put out originally, and sort of kept things flowing, so to speak. The market I went to was a beautiful little country market that I go to sort of semi-regularly. Its numbers do fluctuate, so it's Easter and Christmas markets are obviously the biggest and the best, especially Easter. And then sort of the in-between months, depending on weather, because it is an outdoor market, that sort of the numbers fluctuate, and so my sales end up fluctuating. This day I had a reasonably good day. I had like a constant flow of people coming to look at my stall, and also old customers coming back and just having a chat to me and having a look at what else I had made. And a few of them made some more purchases again, which I really do appreciate their support ongoing as well. They sort of tend to look for me at the market now, which is really nice. It's good to, keep catching up with them and things like that. This market was also really special because I also had my auntie come who she had her own market, so we sort of had a market stall together, and she was selling like sewing goods and things, and sock teddies that she makes as well, and then I had my crochet amigurumi. So yeah, all in all, it was a really good day. In terms of my sales, I did sort of my third best market, so not too bad. We'll get into sort of the costings and everything. So the market I go to is $25 for a 3x3 meter stall, and I set my stall up sort of in like a U shape. This market in particular, I made an actual designated checkout space so that my checkout space no longer takes up room on my actual tables where I have my items. Just a bit of a different thing I tried, and it was really nice as well. So I had my checkout station. I'm a very tall person, I'm 5'11", so I had my checkout station just a little bit taller than my trestle tables where I have my things on, and I find that was so much better for my back and everything because I could actually stand up straight. I wanted to go through just what I sold as well. Going into this market, I usually have a lot of the little mushy boys. I'll put a picture up somewhere on the screen. And I usually tend to try and aim to have 15 of those, only because they sell out really quickly. I find kids sort of get given $5 to $10 spending money sent off into the market, and they then have to choose like one thing that's worth that. So I do have my mushy boys, and I do sort of charge at a loss for those at like $5, just so the kids get something out of it. But going into this market, I only had 3 left over, and because I'm trying to use up my yarn stash before I buy more, but I'm on a yarn buying ban, but it's not really working. But as a result, it meant that I couldn't bake more mushy boys, so I just went with the 3 and then a whole bunch of other stuff. But let's go through what I sold. So I also find with markets as well, there's actually quite a lot of people that do use cash still. Going into doing markets, I really thought that a lot of my sales would be card, but more often than not, it's actually a even 50-50 split. So I make sure I have the cash as well as the cardless square payment system set up. So this time round, about 65% of my sales was through cash, and then 35% was through card payments. I will read off my iPad what I sold because I use the square system. I can see my sales on my little app. So I sold one Triceratops for $35, one turtle for $30, three Aussie birds. I sold one magpie, one cockatoo, and one galah. And I have a little deal for those where if you buy one, it's 10, but if you buy 3 of them, then it's 25. So I sold sort of 3 of those for 25. I sold a little baby toothless dragon for $20. I also sold a rainbow whale with a top hat, and I sold him for $20. He was another one that I had in my market store for a really long time, just a whale, and my mum actually ended up saying, why don't you add like a hat or something to see if he sells then, because a lot of people would fall in love with like how he felt and pick him up and think he's cute but then put him back down, so he was missing something. So I ended up crocheting a little top hat, just made it up, the pattern, and sewed that onto him, and a little boy just loved that, so I sold that for $20. I sold all 3 of the mushy boys that I had left, so I sold them for $5 each, so that was $15. I then also had a large ghost plushie that I also crocheted a little witch's hat onto, and he sold for $15. I also sold a little toothless keyring for $15. And then I make these, I make Halloween crochet car hangers as well with a little ghost and a pumpkin. So I had one of them sell this market for $10. I sold one of my medium penguins for $10. And I sold 2 little candy corns. I charged $5 for my little candy corns, and so I sold 2 of them, so $10 for those. And then I had a little baby axolotl, probably wouldn't have been as big as my hand. Hopefully I have a picture of him somewhere. He was purple and orange based on like a Minecraft axolotl, and I sold him for $5 to a little girl. And then I also had a little duckling that I'd only managed to make one of. Hopefully I'll get to making more of them because I think they'll be really popular with little kids. But I sold that little duck for $5. My total came to about $216.20. So it was a pretty good market, as I said, my 3rd best market. I really enjoy the market there as well that I go to. I think I've said in previous videos that I am looking to do more markets, so I'm going to hopefully, with Christmas time coming up as well, getting a lot of Christmas plushies ready and everything. Hopefully we'll have a few Christmas markets I can make it to this year. So that's my little market recap of what I sold, what sells great for me at this market in particular. I find every market sells a little bit different, but yeah, that's how I went with this market. Thank you for listening, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!